Some stories are about revenge, some are about letting go, but this story hangs right in the middle, held together by a silent smile, the kind that only appears when you know your coldest revenge is actually your calmest plan. A buddy of mine, someone I've known since childhood, has never been the dramatic type. Whenever life threw him into a rough patch, he always did just two things: stayed quiet and observed. Maybe that's the reason why, when his live-in girlfriend cheated on him, his first reaction wasn't anger, it was this strange, unsettling silence. Their relationship had been tense for months. They argued over small things, stopped explaining themselves, and barely communicated. But my friend never imagined she would use this rough patch as an excuse to sneak behind his back to someone else. One day she said, "I'm going to visit my family for a week. I need a little break." 600 kilometers away, one whole week. My buddy simply said, "All right, go and clear your mind." He gave her his full trust, pure, honest, complete. But the very evening she left for her family visit, my buddy happened to pass by a restaurant patio with a friend, and he saw her. Not with family, not with any cousin, but with her ex, sitting close, laughing, sharing drinks, as if the entire trip she described was a lie, and the truth was sitting right across from her. My buddy froze. He didn't react for a long moment. Then he slowly took out his phone and snapped a few pictures. That's it. No confrontation. No shouting. No scene. Just proof. He went straight home, didn't even sit down. He took out the lease. Month to month. 60 days notice. And the best part, she wasn't even on the lease. He called the landlord that same night. "I'm giving my notice. I won't be here after 60 days. The landlord chuckled and said, "No problem. Tenants like you are rare." For the next several days, he didn't tell anyone anything, not her, not us. He just quietly worked on his plan. He found a new place, quietly. Made a furniture list. Ordered packing boxes. Coordinated with the landlord. Whenever new tenants come for viewing, make sure she's not home. The landlord understood something serious was going on, but he didn't ask questions. Meanwhile, my buddy behaved completely normal with her. Sometimes he casually brought up the idea of couples therapy, then shrugged and said, "Leave it, we'll talk later." He avoided intimacy, and whenever she said, "I'm staying the night at a friend," he simply replied, "Sure, take care." He didn't let her suspect for even a second that she was at the center of a quiet storm. Then came moving day. Early morning, a hired crew arrived and started packing everything. Boxes, clothes, shelves, everything. She woke up, shocked. What is happening? My buddy stayed completely calm, steady. He placed the printed photos on the dining table, the ones where she was with her ex at the restaurant. Her breath caught, she couldn't speak. Right then, the landlord walked in and said, "Look, you're not on the lease. You have until midnight to take your stuff. After that, anything left is going on the curb. New tenants arrive in 2 days. I can't wait." She looked around in shock, guilt, panic, all at once. My buddy took one last picture of the pile of her clothes and toiletries in the living room. All the furniture belonged to him anyway. He made her leave without saying a single unnecessary word. From that day onward in our friend group, his plan, his execution, and his cold, calculated revenge became a legend. But the story doesn't end here, because exposing someone else is easy. It's the shadows inside yourself that are hardest to face. And my buddy was about to confront exactly what most people spend their whole lives running away from. The night my buddy moved into his new place, he felt a strange kind of emptiness for the first time. He wasn't angry, he wasn't guilty, it was just a quiet exhaustion. The kind you feel after a long race. But then you realize the actual race hasn't even begun yet. He had ended the relationship after exposing her lie. He had trapped her plan and revealed the truth. He had left the house and started a new life. But as perfect as everything looked from the outside, inside, everything was tangled. That first night in the new apartment, he just sat on the sofa. Boxes still unpacked, even the curtains weren't up yet. The room was half lit, half dark, and in that silence, one question played in his mind. Was all of this right? Revenge makes you feel powerful. But the silence that comes after it, that's the heaviest part. For the first time, it hit him that even with the perfect plan, the cold, calculated revenge, his relationship was still gone. And the empty space left behind, no revenge could fill that. He picked up his phone, opened the gallery, and looked at the photos he had taken in the restaurant. For the first time, carefully, calmly, he realized it wasn't just betrayal. It was the truth of their relationship. A truth that had probably entered long ago, he just never saw it. The next few days, he lived mechanically. Office right arrow, home right arrow, dinner right arrow, sleep. No explanations, no conversations, no drama. When we friends asked, he only said, "It's done, I'm fine." But the truth was, he only looked fine, he was. The pain of cheating is strange. The one who cheats walks away in a moment. But the one who gets cheated on lives in silence for a long time. One evening he sat with me in a small cafe. I asked, "Tell me something, are you happy it's over?" He stayed silent for a long time and finally said, "Happy, no, not sad either, just weird." And in that moment I understood. That silence inside him wasn't emptiness. It was the first stage of understanding. A person processes betrayal with the mind first. The heart comes later. One night he stood on the balcony of his new apartment. City lights glowing below, the air cool against his face. And for the first time he asked himself, what if she had told the truth? What if she had said she was spending time with someone else? What would I have done? And the answer was clear. I would have left her. Just like that, simple, direct. So the problem was never betrayal. The problem was trust. And once trust is broken by someone's lie, it never returns. He decided he wouldn't let his past relationship become an anchor, holding his new life down. He would rebuild his value, his self-respect. Slowly, he started going to the gym, cooking healthy meals, watching movies alone, reading books, going on long drives on weekends. People say breakups destroy you. But for my friend, the breakup brought him back to the person he had slowly been losing. One day he called me. His voice sounded lighter, calmer. "Bro, I think I'm coming back." And I understood. He wasn't returning to his ex. He was returning to his old self. The loyal, simple, honest version of him. The one who trusted without overthinking. The one who could never even imagine cheating on someone. A few weeks after the breakup, his ex texted him. "Can we talk?" He looked at the message, placed the phone face down on the table, picked up his coffee cup, and without replying, he chose peace. He decided the past chapter would not reopen. When you walk out gracefully once, you don't look back. This time he didn't choose revenge. He chose peace. And that peace became his real victory. But the most interesting twist of the story was still ahead. Because soon, his ex made a move so unexpected. It pulled him right back into the same battlefield he had just escaped from. A few weeks passed after the breakup. Life slowly began settling into its normal rhythm again. He would come home from the office, cook a simple dinner, watch a documentary, or just stand in the balcony staring at the city lights in quiet thought. The peace he felt after years was finally becoming part of his routine. But life never gives anyone a break so easily. One evening when he returned from work, he saw a notification on his phone. "You have 3 missed calls from her." He stared at the screen blankly for a few seconds. The phone was in his hand, but his heart felt absolutely still. He couldn't even process why she would be calling. Then another notification popped up. One new message. He opened it. "We need to talk, it's important." He placed the phone on the table and just stood there silently. There comes a moment when a person stops trusting their own emotions. When they think everything was over. So why was it all starting again? He didn't reply. He decided he needed to understand his own feelings first before dealing with anyone else. But over the next 2 days, her calls and messages increased. "Please, it's serious. I need to explain. At least let me talk." A strange restlessness began forming inside him. He knew that if he talked to her, he would slip back into the same swamp it took him weeks to climb out of. But the words she used, serious, explain, important, kept echoing in his mind. One night, he was sipping coffee in the balcony when his phone buzzed again. This time, the message was long. He began reading. "I think someone told you about that night. What you saw was not what it looked like. I was confused, I was hurt, I made a mistake. I want to explain myself. Please meet me once." He didn't laugh. He didn't get angry. He just felt a deep silence inside. When someone truly accepts their mistake, you can feel regret in their words. But this message carried no regret. Only justification. She was trying to craft a story to lighten her guilt. He picked up his phone and deleted the message instantly. Explanations from people who choose betrayal have no value. The biggest problem with cheating is this. The one who cheats always believes they can justify it somehow. That night, he decided he wouldn't meet her. Over means over. But the story wasn't that simple. The next evening, he received a call from one of her friends. Their mutual friend, the neutral one. She asked, "What happened between you two?" She came to me crying, saying you're ignoring her for no reason. He calmly replied, "No reason. Ask her if she wants me to explain her reason." The friend went silent for a moment, then said, "Look, she's saying you misunderstood her." A quiet, internal smile appeared on his face. "Misunderstood? I have photos. I saw everything myself." The friend's tone shifted. "Yeah, but she's saying she was already planning to end things with you. She just chose the wrong timing." He took a deep breath. Timing? For her, timing was the problem. For me, trust was. Then the friend delivered a full dramatic line. "Please meet her once. She's falling apart." He softly answered, "I'm not a therapist. And if she's breaking, she broke herself." The call ended. But the same thought kept repeating in his mind. Is she really restless? Or is this another manipulative cycle? The most dangerous part of cheating is this. When the cheater returns, they return with emotional traps. He decided to meet his therapist friend. The one they jokingly called the free counselor. a logical guy who never let emotions cloud judgment. They met in a cafe. He explained everything. His friend listened patiently and then said, "Look, you still have some softness for her. That's why you're confused. But remember, after cheating, there's only one kind of closure, no contact. The less you hear, the faster you heal." He nodded slowly. "But she says she needs to explain." His friend chuckled. "Explain? That's like someone breaking into your house to steal. And then saying, 'I did it because I was confused.' Bro, betrayal is betrayal." He took a sip of his coffee. His heart felt lighter. Clarity returned. That night, he sent his ex one single message. "I don't need an explanation. I needed loyalty. And that time is gone." He sent it, placed his phone aside, and took slow, deep breaths. He felt himself finally stepping out of the emotional circle. The next few days, he was stable. Gym, office, cooking, everything back to normal. The heat of revenge was gone. The weight of guilt had lifted. And the last thread of the past relationship had finally snapped. But the twist always comes when life seems to be settling. When a person finally begins to heal. That's when the next shock hits with full force. And that's exactly what happened to him. One evening, he received an unexpected call from his landlord. The landlord said, "Son, I need to talk to you. Your ex came here yesterday. And what she told me. You need to know." He froze. His heartbeat paused for a second. The landlord took a deep breath and continued. And with those words, the next chapter of the story opened. What the landlord revealed shook him completely. Because the claim his ex had made wasn't just dangerous. It had the power to pull his entire life back into chaos. That night when the landlord called, my friend's heart genuinely skipped a beat. The landlord's tone was strange. He was usually relaxed and friendly, but today there was tension in his voice. "Son, your ex came here yesterday," he said slowly. My friend held his breath. "Wise for what?" The landlord replied. "She's saying you kicked her out of the house illegally." For a moment, my friend felt the landlord was joking. But the tone was absolutely serious. He asked in a slow, controlled voice. "Illegal, meaning?" The landlord explained. "She's claiming she lived here with you, and you forcefully evicted her. And she told me that if I don't cooperate, she'll file a complaint." A wave of noise rushed through his head. He had planned everything so carefully. The lease was in his name. She was not an official resident. Proper notice was given. She had zero legal standing. Then the landlord added, "Son, I'm completely on your side. I've told her clearly she has no rights here. But understand one thing." She looked extremely anxious, emotional, and unpredictable. Unpredictable. That word echoed in his head like an alarm. The call ended, but his mind was on full alert. He clenched his hands tightly. He knew some people don't just become heartbroken after a breakup. They switch into revenge mode. Or into victim mode. And both modes are dangerous. For a second, he wondered if she might do something irrational. Then he remembered the photos he took. The proof that emotionally protected him. The quiet execution that allowed him to walk away on his own terms. He decided to meet the landlord and talk in detail. The next day, the landlord's house. The landlord served him tea and said calmly, "Son, I know your integrity, you did nothing wrong. But I fear she's not only struggling with guilt. She's struggling with losing control." My friend quietly asked, "Losing control?" The landlord nodded. For someone who cheats, the worst moment isn't getting caught. The worst moment is when their victim doesn't punish them, but walks away quietly. That's when they feel their power is gone. This line hit him straight in the chest. Because that is exactly what had happened. His ex was shocked that he didn't react. No fight. No yelling. No drama. Just a graceful exit. The landlord continued. And when their guilt peaks, they try to paint you as the villain. It's human nature. My friend ran a hand through his hair. "What should I do?" The landlord answered calmly. "Nothing. No contact. I will handle her. If you engage again, you give her power. And you're not giving that power away." Those words sank deep into him. That night, unexpected messages. His ex texted him, "I talked to your landlord. Now I see how stone-hearted you are. You made me feel like I was never important. I deserved better." He smiled in irony. The classic post-cheating line. An attempt to build a victim narrative. He deleted the message. No reply. A second message came. "You didn't even fight for me. At least a fight should have happened. You just ran away." This was exactly the line he expected. Cheaters always want the other person to fight for them, so their value feels validated. He simply put the phone aside. No emotional reaction this time. Just peace. 2 weeks later, a new life. The new apartment was fully set up. New curtains, new routine, new silence. My friend's face looked relaxed now. Even his friends noticed he seemed lighter. One night we all sat together discussing his journey. The photos he took. The calm way he handled the breakup. The quiet strategy. All of it literally movie-level execution. Then he said one line that made everyone silent. "The pain of cheating isn't long-term, but losing yourself is." That line carried pure wisdom. He explained, the night he saw her with her ex. That moment became his turning point. He decided that very night, "I won't break, I'll evolve." And that's exactly what he did. The last encounter. 3 months later, at a random grocery store. His ex suddenly appeared in front of him. Both froze. Her face was a mix of guilt, regret, and awkwardness. She said softly, "You look okay." My friend responded gently, calmly, "I am okay. And honestly, my time with you taught me a lot." Thank you. That line made her even more uncomfortable. Because when someone truly heals, the cheater's guilt doubles. She whispered, "Take care," and walked away. He didn't even look back. Just returned to his shopping list. Closure had arrived long ago. The final message of the story. My friend's plan wasn't flawless, but it was mature. Not revenge, dignity. Not drama, strategy. Not reaction, silence. And silence is always the deepest punishment for a cheater. Till today in our friend group, his move is known as the legend move. Because sometimes The best kind of revenge is simply walking away quietly and building a life even better than before. And that's exactly what he did.